Ladies and gentlemen, I'm George Brown, your host. I'm my co-host, Mandus Buckle. Mandus, how you doing?
I'm good, George. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. I see you got the fancy background on us today.
Yeah, it's time to step it up a little bit. We had to make some changes. This is what you'll see all the time now.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna recap Romania. The winner there was Aundre Benson, and second place was Ryan John Baptiste. Looked to be a good show, man. What do you think?
Well, this Andre kid is who everybody's been talking about and waiting for about 2 years. This is the guy that was with that's with Hani, and I guess the talk is that's who's supposed to take over as his new Jeremy Buendia. So he went out to Romania. He handled business. He looks great. Huge following. He's got Hani in his corner. Kid's gonna be real interesting right away.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him besides the internet stuff. Like you said, he's got a great look. I know he's young. He went out there and took care of business. I think Ryan John Baptiste looked good too. I know Ryan, but things didn't go his way. I think he looked great though. And we're gonna see what all the talk is about with Andre.
Yeah, we
Second
are.
show we have Sacramento Pro. Aundre Benson came away with the win, and Diogo came in second place. I was there. It was a great show, man. Guys was in shape. That's for sure.
It looked like a deep lineup. What was there? 40 guys?
It was like 37 or something like that.
Oof.
Yeah. It was a good show though, definitely. And like I said, those dudes was in shape, So congrats to Andre. I know he was excited. I was standing right next to him, when they called his name. And, he's a very humble dude. He's got a great coach in Ryan Benson. And I'm excited to see, what's next for him. I know, like I said, he was emotional when he got the win, but going into the show, Ryan was telling me, like, man, this dude, he's put in the work. He looks good, so it's good to see him get the win.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting because you have him on as our guest for this week, don't you?
Yeah.
Can't wait to talk to him. He's a guy from out there, a new name to talk about. Saw the pictures. I know you can't go by pictures from what I saw. He looked great. Looked
Yeah,
great.
definitely.
I think it's gonna be real interesting in this division moving forward. There's a lot of guys coming up.
I mean, it is, and it's young and it's exciting, really, because we've been seeing the same guys, definitely, but it's good to start to see, some of the next wave that, is going to come to. Um, we was talking about Romania. Uh, how do you think the international shows are affecting things?
I think the international shows are gonna completely change the game. I think they're gonna change the game for each division. Uh, Maybe the open and maybe the open bodybuilding a little less, but every other division, I think it's going to completely change the game, and I think it's going to completely change the Olympia the most. When I say that, you're going to have a lot of guys in different countries now winning shows. We're going to see physiques that we've never seen before. Um, and therefore you're going to have opportunities for guys that ordinarily would have never gotten a chance to stand next to the top 10 U.S. athletes. But now they're all going to be standing next to him come Olympia time. That's when I think you're going to see the biggest change, because I don't think those top 10 U.S. guys, you're not going to see a lot of them competing and traveling abroad. Once in a while, if it's part of their game plan strategically, maybe if they're expanding their brand, or the wife or the girlfriend wanted to make a trip to another country and they said, well, hey, let's wrap it all together. But for the most part, you're now going to see a slew of international athletes winning shows, showing up to the Olympia and shocking a lot of the U.S. athletes. This is a perfect example. This kid might, not saying it's going to happen, but he might go from never competing, winning a show, and sliding into the top 5 or top 7 all within 1 year. You have no idea anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I can't really say because I really don't know a lot about the international competitors besides the ones that we've already had. You know, the Ryan Terrys and John Baptiste. You know, so we know there are definitely some guys that are, you know, top 10 caliber Olympians. You know, but honestly, like you know, it's yet to be seen. You know, it goes off of you know stuff that you talk about. I mean, who was at the show, right? I mean, you got the win, but what makes that person legit?
Right.
Uh, uh, know about the elite. So until we see that, we don't really have anything to go off of but hype. You know, once again, if you're looking at it for what it is, kid's got a great look. I'm talking about Andre. He's got a great look. He's got a great physique. He's got a great coach. I mean, those all things are lining him up to be that. You know, but that doesn't go for all the other competitors that will show up. You know, so things are lined up perfect for him. But with everybody else, I think that definitely it'll be some people that slide in there. But you know, that's yet to be seen. I really can't say because I can see the body of work of the U.S. competitors
Right.
year in and year out. You know, and if that person was that caliber, we would already see them as it is. I don't think that from already surfacing. You know, but we'll get some new
I, I
guys.
I don't know, George. I think well we can use the 212 champ as a perfect example. This guy was 46, 47 years old, competed as a pro for the first time at the Arnold Classic and won the Arnold, and then finished second at
Mm.
the Olympia last year. The guy was run around by these other leagues and these other divisions for a decade and never
Yeah.
had an opportunity, and he won the Arnold and was second at the Olympia. So you may not see guys at that age in particular, maybe in a men's physique or classic physique division, but I'm absolutely expecting to see each and every year one or two guys come out of the woodwork out of
Yeah.
nowhere,
I
whether
would
we
say
know
that.
about them or not on social media, guys who can make an immediate impact because they just didn't have the opportunity before. And that's going to be a game changer for what we know as the top guys in the sport.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, with that, we're talking about one guy. So I will roll
Right,
with you off the one or two guys. You know what I
right,
mean? Because there's
right.
always going to be that one person that had to fight that fight and to get in there. But what I'm saying is, we would already seen him
Right.
somehow, way, shape, or form. You know, we know who Ryan Terry is. We know who all the other, you know, heavy hitters. Even if you go with William Bonnick or whatever, you're that
Sir
good. You're already
Constance.
yeah, yeah.
Right,
I'm saying you're already service, you know.
right.
But it will be that one exception to the rule
Uh,
of, you know, somebody sliding in. Winning you're in. Let's stick to that. With the winner you're in, do you sit if you win or do you keep competing? I mean, I think it matters to your situation. Definitely. You know, do you need to actually create a body of work or do you already have a body of work? You know, um, man, it's a tough choice. You know, if you're we was talking about Fetty, he won. Does he sit? Well, what has he really done? You know, does you need to continue to try to create for that opportunity and build a resume for an Olympic run? You know, um, but then it may benefit a person like what does Andre do right now? Does he sit? He's kind of small. You know, he's not like a bigger guy. So like, does he try to revamp his physique and try to come bigger and better, or does he continue to try to build a name for himself? You know, what do you think?
I think this is an absolute case by case situation, um, based on the athlete and not only the athlete and who they're working with. So, um, if we were talking generalities, if you're a veteran athlete and you've been around, you win a show and you're shutting it down. For most purposes, there's not a necessity to keep pressing. Usually, you've got a veteran athlete who's been with whoever their coach for a little while. I would I would say probably the only time you're going to see a veteran athlete maybe do one or two more shows is if they had some sort of contractual obligation with a sponsor, or if they were with a new coach and that was their first show, and even though they won, they said, hey, you know what? It was nice to get a win. We've got to work on a few things as a team to make sure we got everything lined up going into the Olympia. Other than that, I really think it's a case by case situation. If you're a younger athlete and you don't have a lot of time on stage, do a few more shows, compete a little bit more, because nothing replaces experience. And the only way you get experience is by competing.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Definitely, you gotta get out there and, like you said, you just gotta run the race. Because you never know when you're going to be in that position. You may have to be in a position where you have to maybe do 2-3 shows. That gives you a different mentality because you've never done it. Right. There's different variables that you got to run through. Different times of shows. It's a lot of things that you definitely could learn and use down. Having the content of what you learned during those shows. So. Our next topic is, what does it mean to be a pro? I think that is. I think it's a lot of it is experience. You have to cross the T's and dot the I's. Kai Green was talking, and he was talking about cooking your food. A lot of women just want this meal prep service and they want these sponsors, and he's like, nah, man, you gotta go through all of the everything as far as like. Cook your food, pack your food, carry it around, eat it. All of those things, step by step, make you a professional. You can't skip any of the stages. So I think that experience, along with doing it over and over and over again, and just learning how things are supposed to be done, and being more efficient, I think that makes you a pro. I don't think it's as far as wins and losses, because you don't really have any control over that. You could be winning, you could be losing, but you still, learn how to be a professional through the experience of, competing or working or whatever you may have.
George, I think this is a topic that we could probably spend days talking about. I would say 75% of the league have no idea what it's like to be a pro. They've got IFBB Pro in their bio. They should just put IFBB in there. They don't have the slightest idea of what professional means. Interestingly enough, we'll be relaunching another show that we do called Bodybuilding by Bodybuilders, that one of the topics is going to be similar to this topic. So those of you who watch this and think this is good, wait till you see this other show. And that'll be on later this week, guys, so stay tuned. But George, I'd use this weekend as a perfect example. You are one of the few athletes who know what it means to be a professional. And I'm not talking about, do you cheat on your diet? Do you do your cardio? If guys are still talking about that, you're so far off, you don't have a clue. We're talking about how you carry yourself. What do you bring to the table? How do you represent yourself to the public? How do you represent yourself when it comes to other athletes? What are you looking for, and what are you looking at when you're trying to go and get sponsors and working for companies? Everybody wants a sponsorship, but they don't know what that means. What do you bring to the table to a company that you expect to give you, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, or pay for your travel and lodging to a show, and what? Because you're gonna post a few times. Posting doesn't make you a pro. Social media doesn't make you a pro. There are tens of thousands of people out there that have nothing to do with being professional athletes that understand social media and have millions of followers They're not professional athletes. So it's not about just what you do on social media. It's not just about your diet and your training. Um, and I think guys think and girls think, hey, I've got a pro card. I won my pro card. I'm now a professional. You're the farthest thing from it. This weekend is an example. You were with a fellow teammate, and he was given multiple instructions that he just, whether it was he didn't know, was he really supposed to follow them all? Did timing matter? All of those things matter. And it took hanging out with somebody like you who does the right things consistently over the course of a weekend for that person to look and say, wow, okay, I guess I haven't been doing most of what I'm supposed to be doing. And the person looks great. Don't get me wrong. The physique is there. The professionalism isn't there. And there's a lot of coaches who can coach an athlete to get on stage, don't have the slightest idea how to teach them to be a pro. And that's another conversation. Isn't that on the athlete? Sure. But are there some coaches who offer the education of what it's like to be a professional? Of course. So again, I think this is a topic that we can talk about for days. Yeah. But again, I think 75% of the league have no idea what it's like to be a professional.
Yeah, I think definitely I would agree with that, piggybacking. I think that it's the little things that make you a professional. And I think that they get overlooked. That's clearly the case. That for some reason people think like if you're elevated or whatever they consider success to be successful, that you're skipping all of the small minor directions that you're supposed to follow. And those are the things to me that make you the professional, because you are checking off every little box to make sure you put yourself in the best position. Whether that pans out or not is out of your hands, but it's just going through those things and then understanding why. So reinforcement, after things came down, and I would talk to him like, hey, look, you see me doing the same thing, you need to do this stuff because this is why, and this is where it's the reason why you get put in that position to be successful, so you said, it just depends on what you want. That's what makes it kind of broad. Some people just kind of, they don't really want to be a professional. They might, just be hobby to. Yeah.
But they're running around saying I'm a pro. You're not a pro. I would give you three names in the men's physique division right now. The three most professional athletes in your division overall: Ryan Terry, George Brown, Brandon Hendrickson. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and look at income. Look at productivity on stage, look at the interactions with fans and people, not only on social media, but in person. Look at what else the three of you are doing off of the stage and even just outside of what you're doing when you're competing, putting on seminars, being on television shows, radio shows, hosting your own show. All of these things are addition to just competing, but those things are part of being a professional. Now, not every professional is going to get to that elite level, but there's got to be steps and there's got to be things that guys and girls are doing that document that and that have the ability for an outsider to look and say, wow, okay, that guy is a professional athlete.
Like you said, we can go on.
On and on.
We're going to move on forward, though. How does competing affect life choices? This is easy for me. When I started dieting, it's not like I just was the perfect person. I got into competing. I was around the age of 31. I didn't know anything about it. So, I'm just following what my friends telling me to do. And it's like, okay, well, I'm supposed to eat this food, I'm not supposed to eat that food. And every day I made the choices to do what I was supposed to do. I made the choice to go work out, be there on time, work hard when I work out, drink the water, eat the food. Even though at that time I didn't know what I was doing, those were the choices that I was making, and when it came down to life, after, because you only work out so long, you only, in the weight room for so long, I started to make different choices about my life. It was like, well, do I drink? I'm not really benefiting from that, So it's like, why am I doing it? I started to make different choices because I knew with food, you either coming or you going. That's with the diet. You either coming or you going. You either ate shit you weren't supposed to, and you took a step backward or whatever. So in life, I'm like, well, and you don't get it all at once. So I'm like, well, shit, if I make enough of the right choices, then I'll put myself in a great position. So I started to take the same mindset that I would use with dieting and competing and use it in life. And what I realized is, man, I could do whatever I want with some hard work, with some consistency, with enough right choices. I can do whatever I want to. All I got to do is work for it, So I think it goes hand in hand. That's just the way I took it. And, I'm glad that I could compete because I live a completely different life now.
Completely. I think this question starts from somebody doing their first show all the way to the top of the league, the best of the best. Discipline and sacrifice. It really, you can put it all into a nutshell. The more disciplined you are and the more you sacrifice, the better your physique is going to be. And the flip side of that coin is how much sacrifice is too much for that individual. And when they figure out what their limit is, they're then going to find their balance in life, whether they're married, they have a fiance, children, a mortgage, a 9-to-5, they make their own hours, whatever that level of sacrifice is going to be. Once they get to that place, the more disciplined they are and the more sacrifices they make, the better their physique is going to be. And the more balance they find, the happier overall their life is going to be. And you're going to see continual progress. And those who can find that happy medium, or those who don't find a happy medium and decide to live all discipline and sacrifice, you usually see them rise a lot faster. And so that's how I see it, making those really affecting their life's choices, and those who mess around, well, the stage, you can see it on their physique. Weekend warriors or people who do it here and there for fun. That's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then it's hard to question why your physique looked a certain way because a guy did a 16-week prep and he finished third. Yeah. Why didn't he beat the guy who's actually been disciplined and sacrificing for 2 years? Well, there's the difference. You can see it in the physique.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like I said, because you learn that with your physique, you either coming or you going. That's for sure. And we are going back out west. Wow. We're headed to the Legion Sports Festival. Take it away, man.
Chris is we were there last year. Chris has got us coming back out there this year again. George, you're joining us this year. This is the best show the West Coast has to offer. It's the #1 show in the entire West Coast. So I don't know, if I'm a competitor, I want to compete in that show. And if I'm not a competitor and I live anywhere out west, I've got to be there. Because look, let's face it, in the Midwest and out east, you've got Chicago Pro, you've got the New York Pro, you've got the Tampa Pro, now Arnold is out east. There's a multitude of high quality shows, but you have options. You've got March, you've got May, you've got June, you've got August.
Pittsburgh.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the biggest show out west. I can't imagine if I lived anywhere out west not being at that show. That thing's got to be marked on the calendar every single year, and I'm either compeing or I'm at least going to hang out.
Can I pack right now? Go right now. Shit.
Well, wait a minute. Not to mention, You know, it's in the middle of November. Who doesn't want to be in sunny California in November? Come on.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and George, this guy puts on a production.
Oh,
No,
I know.
yeah, he doesn't cut corners, man. So, whew, I can't wait to be out there.
I've done a show that he produced before, and it was a nice show. It's just the way you're talking about it. It was the same way. I mean, I got a suit right now in my closet that I got from the show. It's a very nice suit, you know.
Yep.
So I already know how he does. You know, I'm ready to roll. Like I said, I
Yeah,
wish
absolutely.
packs
Yeah.
are still packed right there. You know,
You're ready to go. Hey,
yeah,
I'm 15 minutes from O'Hare. I'll meet you there.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So
So,
you
like I said, you guys stay tuned in. Full coverage, Maximum Muscle Report. Myself, man, it's gonna be there. Southern California. I mean, come on.
absolutely.
All right, so coming back with the winner of the Sacramento Pro, Aundre Benson, and gonna pay some bills first. You guys stay tuned. With the Sacramento Pro winner, Aundre Benson, Team Zero Gravity.
Hey.
I was standing right next to him. But before that, we in the locker room. He look over, he said, "Hey G." I'm like, "What's up, man?" You know, he like, "Man, you think I can get on the King's Court one day?" Hell yeah, you can get on. What I tell you? I like, yeah. And I told him what I tell you. I said, "Look,
Hey, yeah, and I appreciate that because you told me straight up how you're building the network for everyone, not just top level guys, just anybody that competes or has that vision or dream. And yeah, we really appreciate that because like somebody like me that just won, you don't think you're good or up there, you know what I'm saying? And not saying that I'm compared to you guys, but to be on that type of platform, you know what I'm saying? And for you to open it up to everyone that's great, man. That's what we need. That's what we
Look,
need.
hey, when we started doing this last year and we revamped the show coming into this year, George Brown, one of his stipulations to me was we got to have the winner each week. I don't care if the person is a big name or it's their first show. One of the only ways I'm coming back to do this show, Amandus, is I want all my brethren on the show week to week. I wasn't going to argue. I said, "George, your wish is our command. It's a done deal."
yeah."
Yeah, so we really appreciate that.
If you're watching ESPN, right, they don't just show LeBron and Kevin
said
Durant.
that.
If somebody balling, they gonna put that person on. So I told him I wanted the platform. But let's start back. Congratulations, number one. Dude, man, you see him right now, you know. So I'm sitting, I'm like, man, you got it, you know. So, I was there with him like right when he won. You see how he is right now. Let's just start it off, man. And tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us, how it led up to, Saturday when you took the win, your first pro win.
All right, so a little bit about myself. I've been competing since 2014. I'm one of those, the slow guys that in the industry, not the fast guy that got everything. So, and yeah, I appreciate that because if you get too much too fast, you don't, on that road going up, you don't appreciate things as much, So like going from an amateur just to a pro, you can see the difference in night and day when you're on a pro level for so long, and how you're a little bit different or on an amateur level so long. And when you make pro, how much different it is, So, yeah, I'm one of those guys that's been around since 2014 and, got into bodybuilding probably I played a lot of sports, you know what I'm saying? And as I got older, I'm 37, so I'm 37. Put that out there for all the men that think they can't, make moves at such a late age. I'm not that old, but I'm up there. But anyways, yeah. So, as you get older, me coming from an athletic background, I lift more than I was actually playing sports, It used to be playing sports and building myself up in the gym to play sports, And then the whole men's physique thing came out, and I was like, I went to a show, and even at that time back then, I was like, I think I could be that guy like right now, you know what I'm saying? So, and you just gotta put yourself out there, talk to a coach, and that's what it was. Going up to this show, I did the show 2 weeks ago, and I came in 7th, and that was to kick off my season. And so my goal was to crack top 5 here, and I ended up winning, so things kind of shifted really quick for me, because I was mentally ready to take it to Legions next week and to December, because I was one of those guys last year that I felt like I was affected by the point system. So I was glad to see that they changed that, because this time of the year, at the end of the year, I had 12 points going into the Olympia. And when the spring came back, I didn't get any points. I did like 4 shows, and when the top guy Olympians are coming to the same show, they're getting the points and they're going to the shows. So I just felt like I got, I was glad to see that. So yeah, I knew I had to work. I knew you were going to be there, and that was a whole different, like, you messed my mind up early in the game, you know what I'm saying? Like, because that mentality, like, yo, like, George Brown is going to be in the show. He's somebody, he's a legend, like, do you still want to do this show? Even, like, talking to my coach that Monday, I was like, I don't know, man. I'm like, George is going to be there, you know how that go, and he kind of talked me out of it.
Supreme confidence, man. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you can have confidence, all the confidence in the world, and you ask for it, like, yo, I want to stand next to the greats. And when it happens, you're like, but you still got to bring it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So are you going to shut it down now that you won your show? You're done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that answers one. It was one of our topics earlier today. And this particular show is, guys, what do they do? Do they sit or do they roll? So there's an answer to a guy who going to shut it down and make the changes going into this. It gives you a lot of time.
Right, exactly. And that's what my coach was saying. Like I said, my plan and my coach's plan might be 2 different plans. So you always have to sit down with your coach and get on that same, eye to eye, because my original plan was,
Who's your coach, man? Say his name.
Oh, Ryan Benson, ZG, thank you for that. Yeah. And we got 3 in there right now,
Okay.
So, and we got Poppin coming in December. So they said we fell off and we just trying to, get it back up there, So yeah, me and Ryan sit down. Like I said, I was mentally ready to go to Legions this weekend and see how I did there and then take it to December. Because I'm in San Diego and the show's in San Diego.
Okay.
So, but coach was like, nah, we're good we're going to do New York. We are going to do New York. So that'll be in 6-7 months.
So he is going to run. You see?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was saying along with the.
Yeah. My bad.
Now,
we are doing.
You got to realize too, there was something unique about the show out there, is that was the first time Tyler Mannion's been out to a Spectrum show.
Right. Okay.
So you had 2 Olympia judges that decided you were the best on that day.
Exactly. Wow.
Winning a show is a big deal, but winning a show in front of the vice president and Miss Sandy Williamson, who runs all the women and has been on the Olympia panel for forever, that's got to be even that much more special.
Yeah, it is, and you really got to appreciate it, and what I've been through, and it was just a perfect day for me. I never gave up, and I stuck to it. Every day, no matter where I was placing. I'm not a complainer. A lot of guys complain about their coach or whatever. You got to do your part. If you're not doing your part, there's nothing to complain about. There's a few shows I know I didn't do my part, so I can't blame my coach, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, just going through all that, and the stars just aligned perfectly for my time, and I peaked at my time. Like you said, Mr. Tyler was there, Sandy was there. It was my time. It was my time.
Yeah. Tell us about having Ryan, through that journey, you said 2014, it's 2019 right now, you know what I mean? You still was swinging. So, like, and he had, because I talked to him before, the show. Right. He had all the confidence in the world in you. He's like, look, man, my dude, hey, man, he's looking good. He was just telling me, so like, if he's not giving up, then it has to rub off on you, So like, just tell us about that.
Absolutely, man. It's been a few times like where I told him, like, coach, when I first met Ryan back in 2014, he said, you have a physique that could change the direction of the sport. And obviously it didn't go that way, or it hasn't gone that way. But he told me that straight up. And me being who I am, I was like, you really think so? And he's like, yeah. And, we going through the different trials and tribulations of the sport, and not being as strong as an athlete as he thought I could be, I started to lose confidence in myself, and I'm thinking, maybe we're not as good as you think I am, and things like that, you know what I'm saying? And there was a few times where I was like, coach, I might be done, like, maybe it's not what it is. And he's like, no, he's not having that. Ryan's definitely not having that. He knows what to say. He knows how to get you back in the game. You know, a lot of things he's been through before, and he's had great athletes that's been through the same thing, and he knows how to fire you up, man. That's for sure. That's for sure.
See, that's one of the huge advantages. People talk about how much does a coach really matter? Does it make a difference? There, you just gave us a perfect example of how important it is to have. Had you not had a veteran coach who's seen just about anything and had that much success in your corner, you probably would have folded a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You would have never seen the Olympia stage.
Right.
So these are the undertone of things that I don't think get talked about enough, and I'm glad you brought them up. That didn't have to do with they had to do with your win today, but they happened in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18 to get you to this point. So it speaks volumes. Again, there's a consistency and continuity, George, that we always talk about. You guys have been together 6 years. Now you're going to the Olympia. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
man.
you.
Hey, anybody you want to shout out or anything else, you want to just get off your chest, man, let people know.
Let people know I'm here and I'm in the building. No. Nah, man, it's all love. I love everybody, man. Shout out to you, man. I'm the type of person, when I see you in real life, I ain't got no problem telling you how I feel about you. So you already know, King, you're the one inspired me and all of us, Shout out to, of course, my coach, Team Zero Gravity. Let's keep pushing. Nobody knows my brother, but every time somebody says, do I have a shout out, I have to mention my brother, because he's the man behind the machine. And, you need that support, the good support system. So he kept my prep really good, and anything else? Nah, I think I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on, for sure.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Sure. Hey, man, I love your energy, man. It was good to see you get the win, and wish you nothing but the best in the future, man. If you be out Long Beach, I'll be out there, and we can talk about it when we get it. All right, for myself, man, this is my man, SAC Pro winner, going to the Olympics, straight all day. Aundre Benson, West Coast.
Yes,
for
sir.
myself, Mandus Maximum Muscle Report, the King's Court. See you guys next time.
Long live the King.
Yes, sir. Long live the King, boy.